Hello everybody, welcome back to the Podcana YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be having a Magic the Gathering Legend judge Disney Lorcana cards. I am honored to be joined by Thoralf, one of my colleagues over at Card Market, and yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the channel today. Before we jump into things, maybe let people know who you are if they're unfamiliar with you, and just maybe tell us a little bit about your experience with Lorcana so far. Like, how much do you really know about the game?
Yeah, we're running the Magic YouTube channel back on Card Market, and we actually I think we have the biggest Lorcana video in how to play Lorcana.
You do. I double checked it. You guys do. You still
which
do.
is the,
Yeah.
which is the only thing I ever played Lorcana, and I only know about Lorcana this exact same basic setup, and it's not that far away from Magic. Yeah, and I used to play a lot of tournaments in Magic. Now I'm part of the Card Market YouTube team.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, things have definitely changed since set one, since the last time you played
Yeah,
Lorcana, right? So
it's just set one, and set one was basically it could have been a magic set if you just rephrase all the stuff that was whatever it was. Like it's the only thing is that you can play your lands from your hand, like as from cards, which is something Magic players kind of always do, like when they play for fun. It's like, why can't I play this face down as a land? We even have it in the party cube, where you can play your cards face down as lands. So it's quite natural. I don't know what they added, so we'll see. But at least I know how to read a card except in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like this is more of a
sure, sure. Yeah, there's a lot more like comparison, and like you said, they're structured very similarly. So honestly, I expect you to do quite well on this, but there are some cards I'm hoping will catch you out as well. So yeah, let's jump straight into it.
Okay, we have Prince Philip, and it costs 9 ink, obviously.
It is inkable, which is important, right? So it can be used as a resource or as a land.
Good refresher. This is the bigger circle, right?
Yes, correct. The golden circle. Yep.
Okay. It's a 6/6, and I assume the creature types don't really matter. They're more like flavor. But we'll see. Shift 6. You may pay 6 ink to play this on top of one of your characters named Prince Philip. So you're basically playing some form of Pokemon where you evolve
Sure. Yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
some of the things you have. Evasive. Only characters with evasive can challenge this character. This, I think, was already in set one.
Correct. Yeah, it's basically flying within Magic, right?
Yes, yes. And the thing is, you're getting attacked. This is the challenge thing, right? And that
Yes.
only works if you're tapped, if I remember correctly.
Correct. Yes, if the card is tapped. Yep.
Or is it tapped in Lorcana?
The correct term. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say tapped. The correct term is when the card is exerted, but it's the same thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Swift and sure. When you play this character, banish all opposing damaged characters. Okay, and it does 3 of the lore thing.
Correct. It quests for 3. Yep.
So I have some questions.
Yeah. Go ahead. Far away.
If you shift, does the creature have summoning sickness?
That's a very, very important question. As long as the creature,
my assumption is no.
yeah. So as long as the creature underneath doesn't have summoning sickness, then when you shift on top of it, it doesn't have. So like, for example, if you played like a 2-cost Prince Philip, and let's say you had like 11 mana, and then I don't know, for some reason you wanted to, or actually you don't even need 8 mana, right? Because it cost you 2, you want to shift 6. If you did that, it wouldn't be, you couldn't do anything with the card, right? Because the card that was underneath already had summoning sickness. So yes, a lot of the time, yeah, you'll shift it and you'll be able to do something else with the card.
And that means kind of the other Prince Philips matter as well, because you have to play them to play this, but let's just assume they're fine. The other question is, what is the turn structure? If I attack a character, do I have an action after?
Yeah, you can do, like, there's no, like, main phases, combat. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, pretty much.
Okay. Because, for example, if there would be another Prince Philip that says it deals 1 damage to all of your opponent's characters, right? And then you shift this, obviously that would be kind of the 1-2 punch that kills everything. Otherwise, it's only kind of relevant if, like, you're killing one creature, like you have the Prince Philip, you challenge something, it takes damage, probably doesn't die, and then this kills it if you shift it. The other instance would be, I guess you can quest for more, because like if you shift, you can already quest. The cool part is once you've put it on the battlefield, or what is it called, the board, whatever.
Yep.
It basically is indestructible, like from other creatures. It has evasive and like 6 toughness, I assume. I mean, that's why it costs 9 mana.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of depends on what the other Prince Philips do, and maybe how easy it is to put damage on your opponent's characters. But 9 mana seems like way too much. So what are my options? Do I say bad or good?
Yeah, you can say bad or good. I don't think we're gonna really say like mid. I'll explain the card a little bit, but I've pretty much chosen like good or bad cards. Yeah.
Because okay, if I'm playing a competitive tournament, right, and my opponent plays a Prince Philip, the smaller version, I already know what's going up. So my main priority is kill this thing, and I assume if my opponents build their decks, they have removal spells in there, and a Prince Philip isn't surviving. So playing this for 6 is kind of a dream, and even then the payoff doesn't seem amazing. So I would say this is a bust.
Yeah, so this is a bad card for a lot of the reasons that you said. It costs a lot. Its effect is just too conditional, right? Unless you have another supporting card that is able to easily damage your opponent's entire board as well, and then you play this like the finisher, right? It's kind of like this combo card. There is a card, I will say. People have experimented with this card. There's a card called Chief Bogo that says whenever you play a Floodborn character, you deal 1 damage to all of your opponent's creatures.
Yes.
But even Chief Bogo, that still doesn't mean that you have a Prince Philip as well. So somehow you want to play Chief Bogo, and then for 9, or maybe you do have a Prince Philip, you also have to play this and then kind of blow up their board. So everything is just like super conditional with this card. But also the reasons you mentioned, I guess like if it did come down, it would also be like a difficult threat to deal with. But how often can I just play a 9-cost 6/6 that only blows up my opponent's board if so many conditions are met, right?
This seems like a card where starting players or like medium players get like a really huge payoff, because obviously the combination between the card you mentioned and this is intended. Like you want to play this, you want to figure out this exists and then execute, and then you feel great. And then there's room for all of those cards, and there need to be some cards that aren't good enough for all those tournament players, but really have a nice payoff. All right, we have Dog, 2 mana, 1/3, Dreamborn Alley Knight, 7 dwarfs. So I assume there's something with the community of knights or dwarves, or like this seems like a creature type that matters. Like if you have like, I don't know, tutor dwarf, or
Sure.
like all of this seems like it makes sense as a group. When you play this character, you may discard your hand to draw 2 cards. Ugh. How many? You have 5 cards or something
In your opening hand, you start off with 7.
7, and then you have 1 per draw.
Correct. Yeah, but you need to. It's the same as Magic, as in like rather than like, oh, you're playing a land from your hand every turn, you're inking a card from your hand every turn as well.
So, funnily in Magic, this card would be completely broken. Mainly because you want your cards in your graveyard for some certain decks, and then drawing cards makes the cards in your graveyard work. But this is like after 2 centuries of Magic printing cards that work with this interaction. Lorcana isn't that deep. So I'm gonna pretty much ignore like some of the mechanics in graveyard and stuff that it actually does something. Just from a pure value point, this is not an early game card, right? You cannot play it on turn 2 and then discard your hand and draw 2. It's not inkable, so you're even stuck with it. Like if you're in the early game, you cannot even. If this would be inkable, I think that would be almost a 1 or 2 off in every deck, because it's kind of just like, early you play it, no harm done, but later if you have 0 cards, like if you play this your last card, you draw 2, like that's kind of broken. The question is, how rapid can you remove your hand? I assume there are some aggro decks that do it really quickly. I assume that no discard synergy so early in the game. So, or maybe a one-off that you can somehow tutor and then use. If you bounce it, that's kind of broken, right? Because it never catches itself. So if you play it, you draw, return a draw off to your hand, draw it again. Now I'm thinking like, it's probably
You're getting in your head now, right?
it depends on a lot of different metrics. Okay, this is my question to you. How quick is Lorcana? Like, if you play a game of Lorcana, how early do you expect to finish?
I mean, it's like Magic. All I can say is there's fast decks and there's slow decks and there's mid-range decks. Unfortunately, that's like all I can really say because it also changes from meta to meta, right? It's like some metas, maybe the aggro decks
Okay.
are like faster.
Okay, so let me say, if there's a burn deck or something that plays cheap creatures, deals damage to your opponent, and this is pretty much the
And
only
instead of
non-incub.
dealing damage to your opponent, what you need to think about is it's basically questing for a lot rather than having high strength value to attack your opponent, right? So that's the thing to keep in mind.
Right, but with burn mine is you're burning cards to go closer to winning.
Sure,
If it's
sure,
damage or
sure,
if it's
sure, sure, sure.
yeah,
Yep.
that's yeah.
hmm
So if this is like pretty much the only non-inkable card in your deck, it seems pretty broken. So I'm gonna say this is a hit.
I think you caught yourself at the end. I really thought you were gonna say this was a bad card. It's one of the best cards in the game. It's a really,
Yeah,
really, really good card. Like,
it's it makes sense because like if all the cards are cheap and you play them anyway, it's basically just draw two and a creature on top. Yeah.
it's yeah, it's played in all of the like Amber Steel aggro decks basically, where you just dump your hand, you play a dock, you get more cards back. Although what you said as well was something I was really impressed you picked up on. There are some like purple steel decks where you can bounce dock back to your hand, and it can just go crazy because even if you bounce it back, it's in your hand a little bit. Then the next turn, you dump your hand, you replay this again, and this is your draw engine. And also, it's like I don't know. I think maybe some people can kind of play four ofs in the deck, but usually there's like 2 to 3 ofs of this card within the deck because, okay, how great is it if I have two of these in my hand? It's not great, but I guess I just discard the other one and I draw two, so it's not the worst either, right? So that's the thing with Uninkables is always thinking about, okay, what's the count of Uninkables I kind of want to play in a deck? Because if I
Yeah.
play four and I draw two of these to get this, maybe my hand is just bricked and I can't do anything, right?
So wait, Lorcana is 60 card decks with a 4 off limit.
Correct.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that anymore. And
Yep.
steel is an aggro color?
No, I wouldn't say steel is an aggro color specifically. Steel actually excels in steel has this mechanic of if you want to draw cards, usually there's a discard condition attached to drawing cards. But steel is usually the color that like does removal, like damage based removal. Like I'll ping this, I'll ping that. But just because that's one element of what it does, another key element is this feature of discarding some cards, but then also drawing some cards.
Okay, nice. Belle, Hidden Archer. 5 mana, 3/3, not inkable. It has shift for 3, we saw that. And whenever this character is challenged, the challenging character, player discards all their cards in their hand. Okay, this should be fairly easy. Are there cards that make your opponent challenge your characters?
Yes.
Ah, okay. I was hoping for no, that would have been easier.
There's a keyword in the game called Reckless, and Reckless is the character can't quest, and it must challenge if able. So some characters naturally have that on the card. Like maybe they're reckless, but they're just overstated. Like a vanilla creature that's just as reckless, so maybe doesn't quest for a lot, but it can just challenge. But
Right.
there's also ways that I can give my opponent reckless. Yeah.
But that means they still can do something before they attack, right? Like,
The only other thing that they could do is they can't quest because that's what it specifically says. But if it could tap to sing a song, for example, then it wouldn't have to do the challenge. But that's pretty much the only options. If you can sing a song with a reckless character, that prevents you from having to challenge. But if you can't sing a song, then you have to challenge the character
or remove Belle.
or remove Belle. Or basically, if you have another creature, so say for example your opponent had two creatures and you give one of them reckless and both of them were ready. If the other creature let's take away Belle because obviously that's a bad example. But like, if the other creature removed one of your opponent's character, one of your cards that was exerted, then the reckless character doesn't have to challenge because there's no characters to challenge. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you also can only have exactly Belle because otherwise they would challenge the other character.
Yes, exactly, 100%. Yep.
That's a lot of ifs. Like let's say give your opponents reckless, costs a mana. You can basically do this on turn 4, right? You're shifting this, you give your opponent the ability, you have to somehow have a Belle survive before. I guess it's early, so it's not that difficult.
I will say as well, this is very true for Lorcana. Kind of frustrating for a lot of people, and this might help you for the rest of the video, but removal in Lorcana is kind of limited in a sense. Like, there is not so much removal and so much well-costed removal in the game that maybe you would think.
I remember, I think purple had a 5 mana just kill a character or
That's
something.
Ruby, yeah. It was 5 cost uninkable, just banish a character. That's the type of that's set 1, that is set 1, right? But that's the type of thing that we're thinking about for hard removal, right? That's not damage based removal, but that is if you have a 10/10, I will pay 5 ink and I'll remove it.
Right. The good part is it's basically any character. So all you want is your opponent to have one character of any kind. Could even kill Belle, like it doesn't matter. And then they have to discard their hand. You've put a lot of resource into it, and so for example, if you do this, they can still play out most of their cards before and then have to do the challenge.
Sure, but also the earlier you play this, right, then the harder it is for them to dump their entire hand, depending on their deck, right? They could be a very, very slow deck.
Ooh. So back in the other card, it was 9 mana, quest for 3, and this one has like shift 3, quest for 3. Like if your opponent doesn't have a creature, you can just override it and do it for 3, and that's kind of sounds like very quick. Like if they can't, maybe you don't even do that. Maybe you just say, I'll get 3 right away, and if you challenge, you don't have a hand. So like what are you gonna
deal with it, right? Yeah, this is a deal with it card.
Like maybe you don't even I was thinking, okay, you have to make it happen, but if she quests for 3, you don't need to make it happen. It makes it happen.
And if you say, I can't remove this because I want to keep my hand, okay, then this Belle will just keep questing for 3 every turn until you're forced to deal with it, right?
Yeah, I assume if she does it twice, that's already a significant advantage. Like getting 6, it seems to be quite difficult to get lore. Like it's not that significant. Okay. Sure, I'm a fan. Let's say it's a good card. I would say it's not mega broken, but I feel like it has a place.
It's not a good card.
No!
This is one of the cards. This is like an iconic card in Lorcana history. So this came out in set 2, which is obviously like straight after the initial set, and everyone lost their minds when this card came out. This card's so broken. Oh my god, it's gonna ruin the game. We can't remove it. And it turns out, yeah, pretty much. There are ways to deal with a 3/3, and this card is also uninkable. I will say this is a little bit unfair, that unfortunately for this card as well, because I do think this is a big part why the card's also not so good. There aren't so many great Belle shift targets, and even for the few sets that have come out, there are no amazing shift Belle targets, and that's something, as you mentioned with the Prince Philip, right? You also that's a cost that you have to do. If you don't play these Belles that just work with this Belle as well, then you're only going to be paying 5 for this card. So a little bit of that worked against it. Yeah,
I kind of assumed you could shift it on turn 3. Like if you reasonably shift it on turn 3, which I assumed if there's enough Belle would happen.
I think it would have made the card a lot better. Definitely, yeah.
If there's literally nothing to actually do it on turn 3, it gets much worse.
Yeah. Also, the thing I spoke about of giving cards reckless, that's not like that common. There are some cards that do it, but the cards that give reckless usually aren't that powerful, unless it's a character that does that. Like you play a body and it also has that effect. Just giving something reckless in a generic deck, if you don't specifically have this combo, I guess you stop them from questing for a bit, but it doesn't help too much. So
Dinner Bell item, 4 mana. Again, not inkable. You know what happens. Tap, pay 2, draw a card equal to the damage unchosen character of yours, then banish them. Okay, you're eating the character. Nice, clean, easy effect. Okay. How good is drawing cards in Lorcana? I actually have no idea. There's some card games where drawing cards is kind of meh. And like in Magic, drawing cards is basically the best you can do.
It's a very good question, Thoralf. Very good question.
Yeah, it's funny when you play some board games. You see, like as a Magic player, how can I draw more cards, right? Like this is the thing you're looking for. And then there are some certain games which take you a while to be good at because they're not made for drawing more cards. They actually have to use all your resources and then like do something else. Equals to the damage. Okay, so you need to take damage. That means if you challenge, you get damage back, right? That needs your character has to survive. So either didn't do any damage or they're like 2 mana 0/4s. Somehow just lay around, soak up some damage.
There are 1 mana 0/4s in the game.
Yeah, something like this. Like something that takes a lot of damage and then you can draw them. It seems like a huge setup to be like a very normal engine. But if you have like one of those in your deck, I can see how you But then I'm not a fan. I don't feel it. If there would be are there characters that start damaged or something like or
Some in Ruby come in self-damaged.
Ruby? And this one is
Ruby,
Ruby.
yeah, red for Ruby, right? Yep.
Nah, it seems too much. I say nah. It doesn't speak to me. I love
This
food, but it's not good.
this card is such a meme. My God, this, in my opinion, is one of the worst cards in the game. It
Oh,
is so bad, in my opinion. It's
okay.
uninkable. It costs 4, so I have to take an entire turn off just to play this card. I
Yeah.
also have to pay 2 ink to use this item. I also have to banish my character. There
Yeah.
are so many conditions to this card, and the funniest thing is, in set 9, we're getting our first reprint set. They're actually reprinting this card and bringing it back. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is going on? This
I mean, they
card,
have to reprint bad
I
cards
mean, they
as
have to,
well.
exactly, they have to reprint bad cards, but,
Or fan favorites.
yeah.
Yeah, no, like it just asks a lot, and then you still have to play those cards, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you're not just getting something from the board. You're paying 6 and sacrificing creature to get some resources. You still have to pay for it.
And how many cards do I, like, should I reasonably be getting by after investing 6 ink into this? Like, I'd want at least, like, 4
Five.
cards. 5 cards,
Yeah.
yeah, honestly, 4 or 5 cards at least.
To be fair, if Lorcana is really, really slow,
Sure, if it's yeah, but I mean, like, even if it's slow, this is like a giga slow card, right? I don't
and
know.
I don't know how fast Lorcana was in set 2. I
Hmm.
assume that the number means the set there.
Yes, yeah, in the bottom left, correct.
Iago! Hey. 4 mana, 4/6. That's Buffy. So I didn't read further yet, but
Okay.
4 mana, 4/6 inkable already tells me there's a negative on it, right? Like it
Yeah.
can't from the Fina and get on that, it can't be like this. So like
Sure, sure.
evasive. Only characters evade can challenge. Okay, that's good.
Hmm.
Vanish when opponent chooses this character for action, banish them. When opponent chooses this character for an action, banish. Okay, wait.
Banish your opponent.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
kind of, I say this is a hit if you can banish your opponent to the Shadow Realm.
To the Shadow Realm, yeah.
So
Oh.
basically, in Magic, we call that like the illusion thing. If it somehow gets targeted.
If you look at the classification of the card, it's actually an illusion card.
Yes, very good. Of course, like it makes sense because he's like in the story under the spell of the Jafar. It's not Iago because he's obviously as big as a city. So this is
Sure, he's a massive, giant spectral parrot, right? Yeah.
okay. When an opponent chooses this character for an action, is an action an activated ability of a character?
No, so
Does that count?
if you play a character and it has an ability that says to, like, I don't know, give this -1 strength, that doesn't count. An action card is basically a spell card. There's 2 types of action cards. There's just an action card or an action and song card. Those are the only ways. They're basically just like spell cards within Magic. Those are that's the only way that if you target this card, a card with vanish, with an action in some way, then you are able to banish this card.
Help me again. If you take damage, does it stay or go
Yes,
off?
it stays, correct.
So it's certainly not there for making lore or quest. Like
Hmm.
it's not good enough.
Hmm.
But it seems to be a very good card for just eating your opponent's creatures. Like
Hmm.
the only if let's take the vanish part off,
Hmm.
the card would be mega good.
It would
I
be
feel
played in every single purple deck ever. Yep.
because your goal is basically just say, okay, you can't quest or do anything anymore because Iago's just picking off your
Hmm.
things.
Yep.
And the question is now, what is the scale of your opponent's action targeting Iago?
Hmm. So, for example, if you just dealt 2 damage, if there was an action card that says deal 2 damage to this card, it would destroy the card, right? For example, in set 1, I believe there's a 1-cost uninkable card within Steel called Fire the Cannons, which does that exact effect. It just says deal 2 damage to chosen character.
Right. And if I don't know if this like exists, but if there's like your allies get +1/+1, or a creature gets like +2 lore or whatever, like any of those things that you would intend to cast on yours, if you could cast them on your opponents, that would also make Iago really bad.
That is correct.
Like I don't know if that is in Magic nowadays. They kind of do is like you can target most of your things, only your creatures. They used to have a time where you can play everything. It matters, but I don't know what Lorcana is in the stance. My assumption is the card is either very good or it shifts on depending on how your opponents are either prepared or naturally which decks they choose that randomly target something. If they have like deal 2 damage to a character, if that's a hot card, well, you're probably trading bad in mana. So depending on that, since I don't know if it's the case, I'll just say it's good.
Yeah, I actually think the way you described it is a better example. Overall, this is a good card, but yes, it's like the more this is played within the meta, the more reason why people would actually include cards like you said. That, for example, there's a card that maybe wouldn't traditionally be played in certain decks, but there's a card that's just a 1-cost inkable action that says give chosen character +1 strength and draw a card. So suddenly, you for 1 mana, you banish your opponent's creature and you draw a card, right? And maybe you play that on your own card and suddenly you change some breakpoints, you're able to trade into your opponent's things better. But the amount of those cards you play in the deck alternates between, okay, how much do I think Iago is actually present within the meta, right? Or not Iago, vanish cards in general. Yeah.
You wouldn't draw a card because like the target went away, so the spell doesn't happen. But I assume Lorcana it's different. Like
it also didn't say like if it's so that specific action literally says like give a chosen character +1 strength full stop and then draw a card full stop. So the whole action resolves. It's not like if the character is banished or whatever, you draw the card.
Yeah, but in Magic, if all the targets are gone, the card doesn't happen.
Yeah, I actually do think that's quite different from Magic. I think there are some other rulings that are similar to that where previously people were like, is that really how it works? And it's like, yeah, how it works in Lorcana is different at times.
I assume Magic might have done that in a newer age as well because it's pretty confusing. It is how it is now, but I like that Lorcana just went okay. Because most of the people go like, okay, I can't do this, so I do the rest. Lucky Dime, 7 mana. Number 1, choose a character of yours. Tap 2 mana, choose a character of yours, and gain lore equal to their
lore.
So
yeah, so if there's a character on the board that has 3 lore, you can pay 2, exert this, and then you gain the lore instantly.
So it's a 7 mana thing that clunks your hand because you can't ink it. And then you can't use it in the same turn.
You can use it in the same turn if you have 9 ink, right?
Yeah, sure. In Dreamland, you can use it with 2
more Sure. Can I say something that might just help with some context? Because I do believe this card might need a little bit of context.
Okay.
Blue is the color of ramp within Lorcana, so you should be getting resources a little bit faster within blue.
Are we talking like 4 mana get 2 more ink, or 5 mana get 2 more ink?
No, we're talking like turn 2 ramp, skip your turn 3, play your turn 4 card on turn 3 type of thing, if that makes sense. But like also like, you know, repeatable effects as well. Some, you know, you ramp once, some cards will be on the board, you can ramp multiple times type of stuff.
Doesn't convince me. So I wouldn't even be sure if this card would be good if it just says 7 tap, choose a character of yours, gain a lore. It sounds like much stronger, obviously, because you can do it, and it benefits. Like if you play this and then you have somehow an 8 or 9 drop that has a huge amount of lore, then always the 2 mana you're spending is actually twice important. You cannot activate it on the turn where you play it, and you cannot activate it on the turn later when you play like a very big stuff. What is the maximum? Do some things have like 5 lore?
I think printed on a card right now the maximum is 5. But abilities and stuff can definitely go over 5. Like definitely go over 5.
Abilities, but this can't cup use abilities.
If a card says get +1 lore extra per whatever card type is on the board, maybe that's an example where if it like quested for 1 but I had that text, then when you quest with it, that's how much lore it currently has, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, this is a more basic example. If a card just quests for 1, but then it has an ability, if your opponent has no cards in their hand, +2 lore. That means when you quest, you actually get 3 lore rather than just 1 lore.
So it overrides the lore side. Okay. Like, I don't know, if there's something like gain lore to your most expensive item, that would be something that makes a good combination, but otherwise, I don't know. There's probably also something that just goes like destroy an item. 7 mana, my item. Yeah, it's gone. Good luck on your next turn. Like, nah, bust. Not a fan.
So, you, my friend, sounded like the Lorcana community when this card was revealed. This looks like the most unplayable card ever. How could this ever see play in competitive? It's so slow. My opponent will just banish it when I play it, right? Well, let me tell you, this card saw play, and it was a good card.
Okay.
It's less of a good card now, I will say. It's less of a good card now. But the combination you did with this was in a Giga control deck. So you're very, very slow. You're ramping. You're controlling the board, getting to the late game. You kind of combo off. There's an 8-cost card. That's a 5/8. That quests for 1, but it says for each item that you have on the board, +1 lore. So you could control the board. Your opponent gets a little bit ahead. You kind of stabilize, and I wouldn't say you OTK or one-turn kill, but this is how you kind of get back into the game, is you really slow roll. So, and I honestly, when I saw this card, I was like, there's no way there's ever going to be a chance that, like, you know, the game goes so long where this card can actually be impactful. But this card did make your opponents play cards that just banished items, because if my opponent plays this and I banish it, then yeah, that's great. But they rarely ever played this on turn 7. They needed to play this when they had the ability to at least activate the card as well, because like you said, if they just play this and they do nothing with it, it's the most useless card ever.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but this is also one of the cards that get outclassed fairly quickly. Like if you're if the meta goes much faster, or decks get more tools to interact with control decks, I assume, I don't know if that early, but eventually there's also something that's going to punish you for having a lot of ink.
There is actually one card in the game right now that technically can do that. It's not, nobody's really cracked it on how good it can be, but yes, what you're referring to is basically, I don't know what, the equivalent of land destruction in Magic, where your opponent has lots of lands.
More like the punishment for playing so many lands. I don't know. Maybe also there's like a mill component, like a decking thing, and then all of a sudden your very slow deck becomes quite the unreliable source of getting milled or decked. And I don't know. Like it sounds like a card that is very good in very slow environments.
You are 100% correct. Yeah, like it's not really seeing that much play in the current meta because decks are just incredibly fast. So I guess it's unfair to call this a good card, but I had to include this one because at the time it's like exactly how you reacted. It's how we all reacted as well. It's like, this is never gonna see play, you know?
The Muses. Oh, one of my favorite songs. 4 mana, 2/4, Proclaimer of Heroes, Storyborn ally. So yeah, another ally. There's certainly some ally stuff going on. Ward. Your opponent can't choose this character except to challenge.
Hexproof in Magic, basically, right? Or Shroud?
No, yeah. Hexproof is your opponent's. Hexproof is already too strong for Magic, so they decided to not do it anymore. And we have something that is called Ward that lets you pay mana, and then you can target it after.
Oh, it's also called Ward?
Yes. The fixed version of this is called Ward.
Okay.
Whenever you play a song, you may return chosen character with 2
strength. That's like power, yep.
Or less to their player's hand. Okay. First, very initial feeling, that card sounds busted. I don't know quite how songs work.
Well, I'll give you an example of how a song works.
Like, if you play this for 4, can you play a song afterwards in the same turn?
You can, yep. If you play this on turn 4, let's say you have and you also have a 2-cost character on the board that doesn't have Summoning Sickness, you can exert that character to play a 2-cost song because the character costs 2. Then you exert the character, you play the 2-cost song for free. You don't have to pay any ink.
So, out of the top of your head, are there good green 2-cast songs on average? You know, because
let's just say there's a few. The turn count sounds kind of dirty. If you play this, then song, you're bound something, and then they're already locked, right? You can't get rid of it. Yeah, this card is broken. This card is one of my favorite cards in the game, but it's my favorite. Like, it's very frustrating to play against, right?
Is it good or bad? Like,
it's very good. It's very, very, very good. It's very good. Trust me. Yes. For many reasons that you said, this is another and again, like I mentioned, in a game like Lorcana, where honestly the removal is quite limited, this is a form of temporary removal, but you can still effectively loop pretty well, right? Okay, like my opponent plays, I don't know, 3-cost 2/3 or 3-cost 2/4 with some decent ability. I'll play Muses, I'll do a song, they play it again, I'll just bounce it again. The cooler thing you can do with this card is you can also bounce your own creatures back.
Yeah.
So Doc that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
I've done that before, and that's very, very powerful.
It's assume also exactly like the first your opponent's targets are defending, and then eventually if you have more time. I don't know if the relevant you can even bounce themselves.
Yes, you can indeed. So let's say if you wanted to like I don't know, let's say you like barely anything to do on your turn. You only had one song. Okay, I'll quest with the Muses to gain one lore. I'll play a song. I'll bounce Muses back, and I'll just replay Muses to protect her so that she's not exerted, so she can't be challenged. Right?
Yeah.
That's a very niche case, but that's an example of where you would use it. But basically, yeah, this ward ability is very frustrating for players in Lorcana, and on a card that doesn't need to tap, this ability is so strong. There is literally no way to interact with this card unless you board wipe or basically board wipe in some shape or form, because if you've got hard removal, targeted hard removal, you can't use it. If you've got targeted damage removal, you can't use it. Your opponent has to exert this card in order to interact. So you can also understand how strong it is, and also how frustrating this would be to play against, because it just sticks around, right?
Yeah, I assume in this time and age they didn't get around it, so I would be shocked if Ward nowadays or eventually is still around, or is mainly exclusive for like super expensive 9-drops that you don't want to get destroyed because people would be sad.
Sure. I think Ward is actually fine, but as long as the card has a reason to like exert, or it's not like ward isn't combined with these broken static abilities that don't require the character to. There are some ward cards that say like that have the exert symbol on it and have the tap symbol, and sure, that makes it a lot worse, but it's still balanced to an extent, right? Your opponent can't just target it then.
You're right, it's naturally a bit better because you can always attack it. In Magic you can't attack, so hexproof is more mean.
Yes, yeah.
Second star to the right. Ugh, 10? You're not showing me many inkable cards.
I mean, like uninkable cards have to be strong if we want to play them, right?
Yes. Sing together 10. Any number of your teammates' characters with total of 10 may sing the song for free. Chosen player draws 5 cards. I like the naming because it kind of implies what it does. Like if you know sing, like what was it? Play a song or whatever, is one character sing together. I didn't need to read the text after it. I already figured that it would be like a commutative thing. That being said, you have to tap all of those things, like all of the characters. And they have to have 10.
It's 10 total cost, right? So if I have if I have 5 cards and they all cost 2, I can tap to draw 5 cards, but I'm then paying 0 to play this card. Yeah.
So what I see, I kind of estimate that like a quest ratio is about 2.5, 3 to 1. Like a 3-drop, I would assume on average make like 1, maybe if it's really good 2, and then 4, maybe like 2.
It's all balanced on the stats of the card as well. It's like there are 2 cost cards that quest for 3, but they're 1/1s. There are like there's 4 cost 4/4s that just quest for 1, but maybe there's 4 cost 2/2s with evasive that quest for 2, right? You know, so it's that kind of balance, yeah.
But like tapping 10 on average robs you of 3 of the quest, like the lore.
What if I told you there's a mechanic called Singer in this game, where if I have a 2-cost card and it has Singer 4, it counts as 4 to be able to sing the card. So if I've got a 2-cost Singer 4 and I don't know, 3-cost Singer 5, that type of thing.
I have to say it sounds like you're baiting me because it sounds bad.
It sounds like I'm baiting you. Okay.
Yeah, like it sounds like the Sing 4 thing is. I wouldn't be shocked if you use it for like some smaller things, but like. Then you have to play an ensemble of all those bad Sing Together cards. Like, the payoff is nice, draw 5, but it's not a payoff I'm over the moon about, right? It's not like destroy opponent's board or quest for 10 or whatever like this. Like, yeah, choosing 5 is nice, but if you're using all your turn and the setup, I want something that gets me ahead and gets me something that makes immediate impact. And this one says like, okay, you draw more of the sing-along cards, or even this again. Like, why would I want it? If there's like some random thing that say like, you may look your library for a song and play it for free. I mean, obviously that's kind of broken, but if you just take the base value, it would need something that heavily pays off the amount of stuff on your board that you just ramp out, right? Let's say you have a 1-mana card that has sing and sing even more for 4 or whatever.
That would be broken, but yeah.
like some of those, and you bust all of this out, and then you're banking on I'm playing all the songs later, and then you play more of those cheap creatures, and somehow you get like a lore for each creature I have, all my creatures get lore for 2, like all of this. Like if I can somehow then pay off my critters, that sounds more appealing, but I need more context to it. If I read it like this, if there's nothing very specific going on, the card seems bad.
The card is very bad. You are correct. The card is not good. For many reasons that you mentioned. It's first of all, even if I wanted to play this card, potentially like I couldn't play more than 2 at least. I'd probably play a 1 of in the deck. It's uninkable, so this can never be turned into a resource. It's just gonna break my hand 90% of the time. Like it's not good, and the conditions of that I have to have all of these characters present on the board, ready to sing this. However, like honestly, a lot of the time, if you do get to cast this, you're very likely to win the game. Like it's a massive swing because you're gaining 5 more resources in terms of cards than your opponent. But yeah, it's just way too situational, and it will just break you in most situations. So yeah, well done on that one.
Daisy Dock. 1/4, 1 mana, not inkable. Big prize. Whenever this character quests, each opponent reveals the top card of their deck. If it's a character card, you may put it into their hand. Otherwise, they put it onto the bottom of their deck. Funny. So we have basically a card that does the same.
Really?
Pretty
in
much
Magic?
the same.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not good anymore. It's called Goblin Guide, and it's a 1 mana 2/2 haste that can attack right away. And when it attacks, your opponent reveals the top card of their deck. If it's a land, they get into their hand. If not, it just stays there. That card was very good because getting them a land is annoying, like whatever, like it's not great, but usually the bad part of the land is not them getting the lands because they have a lot of lands like this, but you're expecting the creature to deal 4 to 6 damage, and for 1 mana that's just a ratio that you're just accepting. Sometimes your opponent gets a lot of stuff. So based on this, awesome card.
Yeah, you're so right. I love how the comparison is there, and it's basically it's so similar, right? It's like it's the exact same logic. You play this early. Honestly, the amount of games I've lost when my opponent plays Daisy, and then turn 2 they play Daisy. I'm sitting here like, what do I do? You know, I just lose the game. So
and they that's also something that Goblin Guide had. In multiples, they become even stronger because the downside just negatively scales. Like you have something that's called diminishing return, where a lot of the card makes them worse. But here, the diminishing, like if your opponent gets 1 card, the difference is much smaller than getting 5 lands because they can't use 5 lands. And if you give them, they might even have to discard. I know in Lorcana, but if you give them like 3 character cards, they're going to have discard. Like they can't use them.
Yeah, this card honestly as well is like sometimes you always look at 1-drops, right? And you're like, okay, I also have to evaluate 1-drops of like, oh, maybe they're really good at the start of the game, but the longer the game goes on, maybe if I draw my 1-drop compared to if I draw like my 5 or 6 drop, it's worse. But for this card, it's honestly still not that bad because if you're playing this type of deck, you're probably gaining a lot of lore very, very fast. And then by the end, okay, it's still a 1/4. Like 4. The difference between 4 and 3 in Lorcana is a very big breakpoint, in my opinion. For character challenging, for stuff like that, that might help you a little bit later. I don't know. maybe. But yeah, I mean, and it's honestly something like that is very, very important because it's not like I can answer my opponent with like, oh, I'll play like a 4/1. I guess that stat line does exist within Lorcana, but do I play a 4/1 just to deal with your 1-drop, right? Like I don't know.
Just for that.
Yeah.
Oh, doobie-doo. King
I
Louie.
wanna be like you.
Let's see. 7 and a 3/8. Storyborn King. Lay it on the line. Whenever another character is banished, you may remove up to 2 damage from this character. He's a jungle VIP. That's cool. Is there a natural way of banishing, or is the banish effect of a card? Or do people get banished when they take too much damage?
So banishing happens when either the card is like hard removed, like that example of that 5-cost ruby card that just says banish a character, or for example, if I was able to deal 8 damage to this, it would then banish the character. If characters go into combat and they like trade and that's also banishing. Yeah, that's
so basically just not dying, but like ceasing to exist.
Sure. I mean, it is dying. It's basically it's the Disney way, right? It's nothing dies and nothing gets killed, right? Everything gets banished. So,
okay, yeah, but it's everything gets banished eventually.
Yes.
To put it into this.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of cool that this ink thing makes situational cards much less punishing, and you also get rewarded for playing something that's the situational. That's like if you have something that's really good very late in Magic, if you draw them early, like in 2 or 3 turns, you just play them here and then you're fine. Now you said recently 3 is a very breakpointy number because you actually want it to deal 4.
I mean, that's in the early game is what I'll say. That's in the early game for like, for characters challenging early. Like, I mean, I will mention that the three strength is still an interesting breakpoint for other reasons I won't reveal. Yeah.
Some cards. Maybe there's like banish a character with 3 or less power or something like. It's very common in Magic. And that would be annoying. It only quests for 2, which, I mean, I kind of see 2 ways. One of them is very unlikely that you play this and it kind of challenges away your opponent's stuff. And whenever you defeat something, it unheals, like it heals it again. So you can use it again. It's kind of like a destroying machine. That's less likely because it's very late and it doesn't hit for that much. And the other way is you can play this to quest and then destroy your opponent's stuff so they can't really get rid of this because it has too much toughness. But it only lures for 2. All of this seems very medium to me. And it also doesn't seem like there's a tribal thing going on. Like, I don't think there's like a thing that makes this on top of the curve fitting to all your this thing. And if another character is banished, you may remove up to 2 damage from this character. Nah, I don't see it. It sounds bad. I'll say it's bad.
It's a bad card. Yeah. It's just not really impactful enough either. Like I'm 7 ink and I'm playing this. Like it's like you said, it's not questing for a lot, so it's not like a massive threat at least in the late game, right? I feel like I'd wanted to quest for maybe a little bit more. I think the interesting thing that they were going for, and I think honestly this has only popped into my head for me reading the card more, is maybe whenever another character is banished, you may remove up to 2 damage from this character. So I guess if your opponent has to trade a lot of creatures in, then technically it's hard to remove, right? Like they send a 3/3 into this. Oh, character's banished. It actually only dealt 1 damage. But something that you mentioned as well is when this came out, it was set 2. It wasn't even in this set, but in the next set, there's a card that came out that was a 6-cost 4/4 quest for 1 that just banishes chosen opposing character with 3 strength or less. So they could have the biggest butt ever, right? And it's like, it just gets banished. So it's tough.
And then along came Zeus. That's the same movie. Okay. Without knowing anything, it makes it less likely that this card is good because you already had a Hercules card that was very good. So you only have your movie only gets to have so many things.
Sure. Okay.
Or is there actually like something like a movie deck?
You know what's funny? Honestly, like in casual play, people try to make that a format, which would be a cool format, right? It's like, okay, I want to build a deck that's only like Peter Pan creatures or only Snow White characters and stuff. Yeah. It's not really competitive because the idea of Disney Lorcana is you're using all of these characters from multiple different franchises. But there is some tribal synergy with, like you said, 7 dwarves and stuff. But a lot of it hasn't been very competitive so far, let's just say.
4 mana. A character with cost 4 or more can tap to sing this song for free. So they don't need to have any singing thing. This just applies to every character. Deal 5 damage to chosen character or location. And what's a location?
A location is, the best way to think about it is a creature they've played that has 0 strength or 0 power. It comes in tapped or it comes in exerted. Only has willpower. So let's say it has 4 willpower, right? And let's say 2 lore in it. That means that at the start of the turn, it would gain that much lore that's printed on the card. And you can move cards back and forth if you pay a certain amount of ink. The location itself will have an ability. Let's say, I don't know, if you control a creature here at the start of your turn, do X.
Or characters on this location quest for 1 more.
Sure, exactly, that type of thing, yep.
The character that costs 4 or more can tap to sing. Tapping means they have to be on the board for a turn, right?
Correct, yes.
Given to the fact that there's no removal at all, the card sounds kind of good because you either cast it for 4 or for free. Either way, it sounds like a good deal. If there's nothing that gets rid of your opponent's stuff, anything that gets rid of your opponent's stuff is valuable. If you can cast it for free, hallelujah. There's probably some cards that make it even better, like a forecast that maybe untaps, or like if something is banished, untap this thing and you can quest again or whatever. Maybe like I think I vaguely remember like a card that, because you can only quest once, so you could kind of attack and then quest, like you can untap something.
Usually it would be the other way around, where you could quest and then the card could be readied again. Most of the way that's worded
ready again, that was the keyword. Yes. Yeah, either it's a spell or a keyword. Like I remember this phrasing. Yeah, either way, that card is good. Like from all I know, how scarce and how important it is to get rid of your opponent's stuff. If this is the best one I've seen, I mean, if you show me it, it's probably the best one out there.
Yeah, this card's very good. This card is very, very, very strong. Honestly, like you said, yeah, like if you have to pay 4 for this in a certain situation, it's not the worst. But most of the time, I'd say 80% of the time you play this card for free, and it's just really good. You just remove one of your opponent's stuff most of the time.
I would even assume, because this has actually no restriction, that this is the main reason to splash or play this color in other colors. Like you could have, I don't know, a mono red that only plays this.
Sure. I mean, the funny thing is there's it's actually the opposite, where red always seems to be the color where they have the least amount of cards, but the cards within the red are like so good that if you pair them with another color, they're really good. So yeah, but like this is a steel card that you would put in most decks, because just adding removal to, I don't know, like a card draw ink is just good, right? Yeah. This card, by the way, is particularly strong where there's a card, like I said, within Amber that's a 2-cost 1/4 that has Singer 4 on it. So even that early, you can remove one of your opponent's cards like super early, which is pretty good. One of your favorite cards, right? Even though I only showed it to you, yeah.
Is that incidental?
It is incidental, yes.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yes, I find them, I flatten them, I break what I'm handed, I take what's demanded. 4 mana, action, song. A character with cost 4 or more can tap to sing the song for 3, banish all items. Pretty much the same card, right? Like just inkable. I remember the one before wasn't. Okay, interesting, yes. And banish all items. Yeah, this is heavily important, like depending on what your opponent plays as items. Like, if you tell me this blue deck exists that plays a bunch of items, this card sounds very good. All items. You could
every color can play items as well. I believe it's the same in Magic, right? Where every color has artifacts, I think.
But you wouldn't play items. Like you would then specifically just play this card to mess with your opponent. I guess very niche, but there might be some items that does something when they get banished. Like imagine we have something like when this gets destroyed, you draw 3 cards or whatever. But I assume that's too early for Lorcana. It doesn't. Like it just depends on how frequent items is. Okay, let's take a Magic thing, right? If we have cards that say destroy all artifacts, that would be a card that is not played all the time. And artifacts can be played from every deck because they don't cost any mana, any color, colorless, so you can put them in any decks. But specifically, red and green have access to those cards, and if artifacts get really relevant, they put them into their sideboard. Actually, good question. Is there a sideboard in Lorcana?
There's no sideboard in Lorcana.
So that makes it
it's a higher cost of putting a card that you feel like, yeah. I mean, but that's also the honestly, in my opinion, there has been a debate in the past between like, so should Lorcana have a sideboard? Should it not? Cards being inkable in Lorcana, I'm not going to say make up for the fact that there's not a sideboard, but definitely help the flexibility of the card, right?
Yeah, this is what I was saying. Like, if this card wouldn't be inkable, it would be a flat 0. Like, it's you can't just play a card that doesn't do anything and isn't a mana. In this instant, I would say it's good, but I wouldn't go as a 4 off. Like, I would maybe just see as a 1 or 2 off and be happy when it's really a good application, because also banishing all items isn't an effect you want to have early or you want to have multiples of. So if I'd run it as a 2 off, I probably would be happy. And yeah, so something in between good but not
like you've described it perfectly. Like, this is kind of unfair for me to put it in, because I would lean towards it being maybe less more bad and less good. However, the way you've described it is actually how people have played this card before. This card's never really been impactful enough, even when items like item decks have been within the meta. Maybe there's a 1 or 2 of, but the opportunity to kind of play this even when they have a lot of items out doesn't really come up that much, but it has been used in the exact way you've described, right? People have tried it as a 1 or 2 of. So for that like explanation, yes, you got it correct, because that's how people use the card, right? You know, but it has leaned towards being less good than you would think. I think item decks just kind of do their thing anyways, and interacting with them or banishing a lot of their stuff, unless it's the exact perfect key moment, then it's kind of more so the situation that you described earlier, where they played this big key item, I'll just do a single target item removal to deal with that, rather than do the mass removal.
I would even assume on a higher level, there's like a concept of over-inking, that you just over-satisfy the cards where you justify, I can play them with ink. Like, I can play some of those, and all of a sudden you have only cards that you want to play as ink. And
sure, yeah. There's decks that, like, it's a tricky thing within Lorcana. Like, Frank Carson actually wrote an article, and he spoke about, the balance of using inkables versus uninkables, and he was using like hyper geometric calculations and stuff, but it was really, really interesting, honestly. And it's like, you also want to play uninkable cards because they are more powerful. They should be more powerful because they are uninkable, but there's a deck building cost that comes with them. So it's one of the more enjoyable parts of Lorcana that I really like, is like, I can't just put loads of uninkables in my deck, but I also probably shouldn't just be playing all inkables, unless I just think they are all very, very good cards anyways. For the most part, of course, you will put more inkables in, but it's also important to put in if an uninkable card is very strong. Okay, yeah, why would I not put it in, right? And the amount of copies. Okay, I do it as well. I have to decide that.
Nice.
Okay, so that is pretty much it for the video. Thoralf, thank you so much for joining me. But before we leave, I have a bonus card. I have a bonus card to show you. So I was originally going to show you a card from set 9, which is the newest set that will be releasing soon. It's going to be like the first major reprint set. But I wanted to show you a location card because you had the question of kind of what are locations. So I will pull it up now.
And then you can attack the location to destroy it once it has no life points, right?
Yep.
Oh wow. So it's a 4 mana inkable location. It has 9 defense. What is the 1?
The 1 is how much ink it costs you to move it to the location. So this is an example of a vanilla location, right? This doesn't have, like you said, if a character is here, it gets +1 more or whatever. This is strictly just, the 1 ink is just, I don't know. Honestly, within the you know, you could just move a character back and forth, but some character might have a synergy when, if it moves to a location, do X. That could be an ability printed on the character card, right?
And the location itself can quest?
No, the location can't quest. So what happens is at the start of every turn, if a location is still on your board at the start of your turn, you then gain the amount of lore that's printed on the card.
Okay. So the ideal scenario would be play this on 4, move something into it.
Well, unless, yeah, sure. I mean, if you have a card that cares about being moved to the location. But honestly...
then you get the lore, play this on 5, and then put 1 extra to move it in. And then your next turn, you get 2 of the...
No, you don't have to have a creature in there to gain the lore. You can just play the location.
Just get it?
Yep.
Okay, and it's always tapped, right? It can always be attacked?
Yep, correct.
This sounds obscenely strong if your deck can just handle your opponent's stuff. Play removal spells, I don't know, even bouncing, tapping, like, is blue was the ramp, right?
Yes, blue's ramp, yep.
Yeah, so you can even pay like higher cards, 5, 6, 7 mana cards earlier to have like the big effect of destroy creatures, bounce all of them, whatever, and then just ride to victory from the mana. I don't know, it seems very strong to me. The only thing you have to do is do what you want to do anyway, like hold your opponent off from like doing what they need to do.
You have to be ahead for locations most of the time. Like, because you have to force, because if your opponent needs to be hitting your location, then they're not questing, they're not progressing their win condition, basically, right?
So this reminds me a little like of some control decks in Magic, where you just play the game, you have your counter spells and your remove spells and your card draw and all of the thing. Like you play a game without playing the game. You don't deal damage to your opponent, you don't interact. And then one chosen card in your deck is the finisher. It can be as bad as it wants to be, but you just like once you have the game locked up by having so many more cards and so many more resources, you just finish however, right? And this might be just one of those things where you can even put your opponent under pressure. Like if you play a mirror and you play this on 4, your opponent goes like, yikes. Maybe if they can remove it, but otherwise, like you just play turn 10 and remove something, and then eventually slowly gain your quest, and you have a clock of your opponent. And if they destroy it, I mean, they didn't take you damage, they didn't quest or whatever. So I don't know, it reads very good to me.
This is, in my opinion, the best location they've ever printed within the game. And it was the first set they printed locations, which is crazy to think that this is a vanilla location, right? It doesn't even need an ability. It has so much willpower.
The ability is just, like, I don't know what the other ones have, but just 2 every turn. Like, if I look at the creatures you've shown me, like the monkey that costs 7 makes 2 every turn.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, like, a situation you described is exactly what happens. There's a card in the game called Be Prepared, 7 cost an inkable song that just wipes the board.
That's set 1.
That's the set 1, yeah. You probably played that card, right?
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a mass board wipe, right? So let's say even your character, if you have a 7 cost character, you'll use that to sing Be Prep, clear the board. If you go Manor, they've got no creatures. Their creatures come in with summoning sickness unless they have rush creatures. And most of the time you don't sing Be Prep, right? Honestly, in these like red-blue decks, you're playing it slowly. You'll get to 11 ink. Like you can get to 11 ink in those games. That you just go, okay, I play 7, clear the board, play Manor, deal with it. And they need to have like what a rush character plus a buff character to exactly deal, like, you know, it's nearly impossible. So it's a clock. It's exactly what you said. You put this clock on, they have to then deal with this. While they're dealing with this, you also then maybe play some more characters that they also have to try and somehow deal with, and it's very difficult.
It's also on the other way around, a card where they have to overextend to kill it quickly and then be prepared is very good.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Of course, I'm sure you guys already know Thoralf, but if you don't, go over and check out the Card Market YouTube channel. They do some crazy stuff. Yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on. Did you enjoy your time here learning more about Lorcana?
Love it. Anything that keeps my brain active and like this is beautiful. I mean, you've spent your whole life evaluating cards, and then if you read a Magic card, you get that feeling as well. But like, if on a totally different concept and thing, it's awesome. Lots of fun.
Well, if you guys enjoyed the video, the number one thing you can do is like it, comment down below, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one.